imagine Biden's attention to this massive shortage. How will that impact the shortage itself and the industry at large?
Emily, I think the administration wants to foster an environment where companies will invest even more here in the United States and secure the longer term supply of semiconductors. Of course, any construction that starts today will take a few years before it actually yields additional chips. I think the fact that you have an administration and an industry that would like to add capacity is positive. So if we step back and think about the dynamics here, in the near term, we're going to remain supply constrained. I think some of that will ease late this year and into 2022. But longer term, strategically, clearly the semiconductor industry will become more and more important to a variety of industries beyond just technology.
You know, it's interesting. I've heard conflicting opinions about how long the chip shortage will last. Qualcomm CEO telling us we'll have line of sight by the end of the year. IBM, Intel, ARM, CEOs of all of those companies say it's going to last multiple years. How long do you expect we're going to be in this for?
I think it's going to be a factor for the next 4 to 6 quarters, Emily. And different industries, for example, automobiles, they expected demand to recover less quickly than it has, right? And so you have certain industries more impacted than others. But I think if we look out beyond the next 18 months, what's clear is that this build out of the digital infrastructure is going to require more and more intellectual property from the semiconductor industry, clearly more manufacturing at scale. And so the longer term secular drivers here are healthy. The dynamics in the shorter term are going to depend industry by industry. But I think what's most important is that capacity is being added, and that ultimately will help solve these constraints that are going to be with us for a little bit still.
Is the lack of capacity affecting all countries equally, or do you have any concern this could give China, for example, an advantage over the U.S. in technology?
Well, all of these companies are global. So if you look at companies like Taiwan Semiconductor or Intel, they have operations all over the planet. And so, and their customers, if you take a Qualcomm, which you mentioned, also have customers all over the planet. And so this is a global issue. I think what's going to happen over the next 2 to 3 years, we've seen governments, certainly China, the US increasingly are going to look to have more local supply for both strategic reasons, certainly to help out some of their industries. I think longer term, Asia is still going to remain critical, but I think the US and the European Union will have more local supply, which is a longer term. It helps to balance things a little bit over the longer term, but it'll take time.